So by round of applause, how many people here have ever smoked PCP? Just me? Ladies. So I have never knowingly or willingly smoked PCP, but there was that one time. I showed up at a party, and they handed me a bong, and I thought I could hang. I'm like, I smoke weed with the best. I own the chronic. What? But it turns out it was PCP. And I went into an instant brownout. Now, if you don't know, a blackout is where you don't remember anything, and a brownout is where you only remember bits and pieces. And I'll tell you about the bits and pieces that I remember. I'm watching their conversation. You have to hold on a second. You two guys jerk off amongst yourselves. So, the next thing I know, I wound up at a 4 a.m. I woke up at, or I didn't wake up, I wound up at a 4 a.m. Latino biker bar. If you've never been to one, this is like the kind of place where Batman villains go to hang out when they've just pulled off a caper. And I called an ex-girlfriend at some point and got into an argument. I don't know how or why, but at some point I said, "Bitch, I'm Ian Ellis. I'll kill your whole fucking family." I don't know why I said that. I have a feeling I was thinking about Ermski. I know I'm 29. At this point, the only thing I've ever killed is like a bathroom. And like an El Burrito Loco or a White Castle, whatever you have in your poor neighborhood. So the last thing I remember, I'm in a bathroom, and I'm at the urinal taking a piss, and a cholo walked in behind me. Now, cholos scare me more than like chupacabras, ghosts, or the devil. If there was an evolutionary chart of like bad fucking gangsters, these dudes would be at the top. They are the scariest motherfuckers on the planet. And he walked to a bathroom stall, and he knocked on the door, and a guy made what I felt was a very reasonable argument. He said, "Dude, I'm taking a shit." But Cholo doesn't play that. So he kicked in the door and beat the living shit out of the guy that was sitting there. So I got the fuck out of there because I didn't want to be like collateral damage. I didn't see shit, I didn't say shit. So I got out and I was like, "Dude, I just saw some dude get his ass beat." And they're like, "Ian, thank God we found you. That dude just went in the bathroom to beat you up." And I was like, "Why the fuck weren't you guys in there trying to help me?" And they're like, "Well, apparently that girl that you were groping, that's his cousin. And she probably just came from her quinceañera." How many people here love?
Yeah.
How many people are in love? I was about to shit all over that.
All right.
I'm currently going through a recession divorce. It's like a regular divorce, except I'm still married. And I thought tonight is my wedding anniversary. So I thought I'd tell the very special story about how shit went really, really wrong. So I've been married about 3 years. My wife and I lived in Baltimore, and we weren't talking and we weren't fucking. And that's usually like two bad signs. Like those are two things you want in a relationship. You want to be talking or fucking. So one day I was like, you know what? We're growing apart. Let me put in some work today. Have you guys ever tried to put in some special work for your lady?
Yeah.
So I let my lady sleep in, and I was like, when she gets up, I'm going to make her breakfast. We're going to talk. We're going to make love. It'll be beautiful. And she slept in. She slept for like 20 goddamn hours. And finally I was like, "Baby, what do you want for breakfast?" And she was like, "Pancakes." So I was like, "All right, I'm going to go to the store, get some pancakes. When I come back, I'll make breakfast." I went to the store. I came back about 10 minutes later, and she was gone. And I called her. I was like, "Baby, what'd you do?" "Oh, I realized I slept in. I wanted to go to the gym, and then I'll be at work." So that's when the little voice in the back of my head, my spider senses started going off. And they were like, "Ian, check her email." And I was like, "All right, I'll check the email." So I pull it up, and I was like, "What do I search?" And the little voice was like, "Search the word fuck." I was like, nobody's that stupid. But I searched the word fuck, and I found a very special email between her and that ex-boyfriend she knew goddamn well she wasn't supposed to be talking to. Now, this was a conversation that she had had, and it was everything you never want to hear as a man. It said, "My husband is a fucking loser. He can't hold down a job. He has a little dick. I have to think about you when I'm fucking him. And hey, don't talk to my wife like that. I sat and I was shaking, and I went outside and I smoked a pack of Newports. Not like one or two, like a pack. And I decided I better call someone, because my therapist said if you're ever going to do something crazy, like batshit crazy, call me first. So I called her, and she didn't pick up. So I called her like 16 more times, and the bitch still didn't pick up. And I was like, I'm no longer responsible for my actions. Now, my best friend, he got ordained as a minister to like perform the ceremony, and then he started teaching marriage counseling after that. So I called him, and I was like, dude, this is what's going on. What do I do? And he's like, I don't know what Jesus would do, but I'd kill the bitch. I was like, it's probably not an option. I have a hard time lying, and I've seen CSI once or twice and get caught. He's like, I don't know, dude, it's out of my wheelhouse. Just try and communicate. So I called my wife, and I was like, baby, I found a very special email, and you need to come the fuck home so we can talk about it like adults.
Oh.
So she came home and it started out good. We were talking. I said, the marriage is over. She said, I'm cool with that. I said, I haven't been happy for a while. She said, neither have I. And we left it at that. Marriage was over. We were adults. I went in the other room and I called my dad. And I was like, Dad, can you get me a flight home tonight? And he was like, yeah. And then my wife said, don't fucking tell him I cheated on you. And I was like, baby, be quiet. He's like, no, your parents already fucking hate me. Don't fucking tell him I cheated on you. And I was like, Dad, I'm going to have to call you back. So that's when I realized it was probably time to fuck my marriage back on track. And I decided it was time to do a hate fuck. Some people are like, Ian, you mean rape? No, this is not rape. Rape is different. Rape is because you can't get any pussy. A hate fuck is because you're trying to communicate. And reconnect. So I grabbed her by the arm, and I threw her on the bed. And I'm not normally that strong, but apparently I had the strength of like 10 bears. And I came over, and she had the appropriate amount of terror in her face. Like Ermsky should have. And I said, baby, we're going to fuck this out. And she said, no. And then I tried to take her pants off. And that's when it got a little rapey. And she kicked me. And that shit took me down. And I got back up and I was like, I'm doing this because I love you. And I tried to grab her and she kicked me again. And so I punched the living shit out of the side of her leg. Hey, fuck you, what would you do in that situation? You would have hit her before the conversation. So I've been to anger management since then, and they said like what I was really trying to say with my fist was, why don't I matter to you? But I don't think that's what she took away from the whole interaction. I don't think that's what she thought I was communicating. It's a little voice in my head, it was like, if you hit this chick, it's gonna be over. And then the other more evil voice was like, it needs to be over, hit that bitch. So I started wailing on her, and then I stopped. Because like the next thing to do was to kill her. And my mother may have raised a wife beater, but she did not raise a murderer. So I stopped, and like, she was gone. She leaves, and I realized like my life is fucking over. And I found myself in the kitchen at the bottom of a bottle of whiskey, and I was thinking about killing myself. And I took the knife, and I started pushing it in the side of my arm, because I'm kind of a bitch, and I want to know if I actually have the balls to like open a vein, because that shit seems like it would hurt a lot. And I don't want to have scars from just trying to do some shit. The story's already hard to tell people. I don't need like bitch scars on top of it. So then I'm like, I'm clearly not going to be able to cut my fucking wrist open. So then I start like sticking the knife in my neck and pushing it in. And I'm trying to think like, can I open my fucking neck fast enough that I will be able to bleed out before I change my mind and I apply pressure. And I survive this shit. Because it's really fucking hard to get a gun when you're drunk in the middle of the night. So those were my options. Now I've had a few friends kill themselves, and I've always thought like, why not just fucking do something crazy first? Like, why not just fucking lose your shit, steal a car, rob a bank, kick a puppy, you know, whatever you've always been up to, but you never had the heart to do. And so I decided to do something I always wanted to do, and I went down to this shitty little hipster bar, and I performed comedy for the first time, and it saved my life. And I've been doing it ever since. And that's the story of how I got into comedy and how my marriage ended. So that's the full story. So, now that I feel like I know you guys, why don't we get a little personal? Anybody that knows me knows that I fucking hate onions.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Fuck them onions.
Fuck those onions. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. Some of you like onions, and that's fine. I'm sure you'll still get into heaven. Like, I wouldn't let you in, but I'm clearly a lunatic. And the reason I don't like onions is it's the only thing I've ever eaten that is clearly made out of sadness. And I've never gone into a Subway and said, like, man, this sandwich is great, but is there a way you can make it taste more like my parents' divorce? Can you add some human suffering to this so I can enjoy that alongside my Sprite and my Sun Chips? And occasionally people try and like sneak onions into my food. I would rather find out that Sprite is made out of the tears of dead children while drinking Sprite in a pool full of dead children than find out there are onions in my sandwich. To be fair, I also fucking hate children.